Hello and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. We're here to chat all things Leeds United with myself, Stephen Brown, and joining me as ever, Jason Booker. How are we doing?
I'm all right, mate. Did you think we were on that Farsley show we were just talking about?
Well, what did I say?
You just had a big block between the West Yorkshire Football Show.
Yeah, me and Jay were on about binning off like all football, like above like kind of the conference, and just going back to basics. No VAR, no controversy, no big money issues. Binning it off. Start again with Farsley Celtic. So yeah, stay tuned for the new Farsley Celtic channel that will be coming soon. No, alas, we are here to discuss Leeds United after what's been a tricky week. Probably the first week I can remember for a long, long time where there's kind of genuine kind of concern or worry or stress or anxiety, fear and loathing, as the thumbnail says. Obviously, we've been on a fantastic run, and it's amazing how 1 week can suddenly spin us off into a whole other direction. Obviously, some of the results didn't go again for us, rather, with West Ham winning and Forest picking up a point, but there was a slight reprieve with another Spurs disaster class last night, which was good. But Jay, I mean, a few days on from the Sunderland game debacle and everything happened there, how are you kind of feeling in terms of the footballing world and Leeds United sphere?
Truthfully, I'm still a bit triggered by the game. Usually I kind of get over it 24 to 48 hours and kind of moved on, but I'm just triggered by the game. I'm triggered by the Sunderland fans. I can't wait for they to get their demise now. I kind of feel like my new favourite, least liked club. Just the way that they conducted themselves on the game. Luke O'Nien getting man of the match. What a disaster that was. I mean, it was awful. It was terrible. The officiating, I mean, the things that I've seen back, 31 minutes the ball was out of play. 31 minutes. And I mean, you know, if you're getting into a principle kind of conversation, you're talking about what fans are paying for. They're not paying to see the ball out of play. They're not. No. You know, even the Sunderland fans, they're not paying to experience their side do what they did. Really, I don't, and I get it. I do get it. Me and you have had this conversation a few times over the last 2 seasons. We saw that game, I would say, 5 times last season and the season before. I remember teams coming to Ellen Road. Blackburn did it especially well at Ellen Road when they beat us 1-0 towards the back end of the first season. You know, they stink the place out. Leeds can't break them down, miss too many chances, not clinical. Referee allows them to get away with time wasting, diving, cheating, fouls, professional fouls. You know, you go back through that game, I'm willing to bet that you'd be able to book a Sunderland player with a yellow card 15 or 20 times for time wasting, diving, cheating, you know, all these kind. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for their players to be properly officiated and managed during the game. I'm not looking for Sunderland to do us a favour and not turn up the way that they did. Do you get what I mean? There's a big difference between the two. So yeah, triggered by Forest. Man City bloody had one cleared off the line with literally the last kick of the game, last kick of the ball. I turned it over from the West Ham game to catch literally the last chance. Bernardo Silva goes through, it kind of bobbles around a bit. The shot gets struck at goal and a Forest player's got back to the line. And it's just the way that it goes this time of year. I never thought we were out of it. I would have said I thought we were out of it had we have won. 6 points clear, even with West Ham winning. I think it puts different pressure on West Ham as well. You know, the situation might not have played out the way that it did. I mean, even, you know, people are waxing lyrical about West Ham. They weren't very good against Fulham. Fulham were awful. And then it's one mistake from Bert Leno. That's it. It's one mistake. They didn't carve Fulham open or anything like that. They you know, they caught Fulham on a good day, and then they made one massive mistake that changed the game. So it's just a week in the life of a relegation candidate, and we're probably going to have more twists and turns. The season has still got, 9 games to go. It's still 9, 18, 27, 36, a quarter of the season, near enough.
Well, this is it. I mean, I can tell I'm more anxious about it all, because it goes to show how kind of serene almost this long period of time has been, where we've held this like cushy 6-point gap. And, the performances have been good. We've probably not got as many points as we deserved or should have. And I can tell because I'm able to switch off during the week from it. I'm kind of not, it's not there in the back of mind going, oh, relegation. This week has been different now, especially with what happened. I mean, I was putting my lad to bed the other night and it's 0-0 Fulham West Ham game, literally loaded it up on the tablet. And Leno comes out and gets the ball and just leaves it. And the West Ham defender stood about a yard away from it and just, what do I do? Somerville comes in. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, we never, ever get anything like that. It reminds me of the spawny goals that Ipswich were scoring every week in the Championship when we were battling, and they'd have the most ridiculous goals go in from just stupidity from the opponents. I mean, God knows what happened to Fulham the other night. I know they rested a couple of players. There was no Harry Wilson. And it just looked a bit stale from them. And it was almost kind of perfect for West Ham to just go and nick it. And they've got Cree Somerville, who obviously we know so well, who just seems like a man on a mission. I mean, if you take Somerville and his input out of that team, that they're already down. I mean, he is on another level at the minute. He's just sharp, clinical, fast. I mean, and this kind of leads me into a point I want to talk about, because that specific, the Forest and West Ham game, you look at the Forest one and it's two unbelievable goals from Forest. I mean, the Gibbs-White back heel and Elliot Anderson. And I was looking at it, and I'm looking at Leeds the other night, and I'm going, and I'm still in the same position I was then. I don't feel we've got players on the pitch who can do them types of things. Yeah. And it's kind of almost like we needed something like that the other night. Having said that, that Rodon goal stands. I think we get a stinky 1-0 win and we're all going, job done. And I think it was so close. It was one of those Leeds United nights. It was one of those Wigan days. It was that day we've experienced as Leeds fans where it's like the dominoes fall in that way, and there's just nothing that can be done about it. It's just destined to be that way. And I think when you look at the quality that the other I mean, look, we're trying to usurp established heavyweights in the Premier League. Spurs, West Ham been there for years. Forest were, qualified for Europe. These teams got unbelievable players at the disposal, and we're bringing on Dan James and Willie Gnonto and Joe Peru to try and claw back. I mean, I mean, Peru, when he has that shot outside the box later on, and you're like, can somebody please muster something amazing for us to get us out of this situation? It's just not there. And you're looking at Elliot Anderson, who bangs in a goal away at the Etihad from 25 yards out. I mean, it's aggravating, because you just think, I don't want to say it's unfair, but it's like the run we've been on, Jay. I mean, I was here listening to a podcast this morning that was talking about the relegation battle in terms of the XG table, what we touched on last week. And you've got Sunderland at the bottom and West Ham at the bottom. Our relegation rounds are at the bottom. Leeds are not nowhere near it. And you just think, why is it like this? Why can we not get what we deserve?
It comes
triggered still, obviously.
No, it's good to hear him. It is frustrating because I can hear my echo.
Oh, is that any?
Turn me up a bit.
Yeah. So, is that any better?
I'll check it again. Yeah, I think that sounds better. It's one of them, innit? Like, at the end of the day, we've got what we've got. We've not got a Premier League quality team. We don't have them X Factor players outside of probably Noah Okafor, who we've not got on the pitch at the minute. I think you're absolutely right about the game the other day, and that we would have won that game 1-0 had Rodon's goal stood, had we have got our own penalty, which we should have had. Like, so many Sunderland fans are like, oh yeah, balance is out over the season. It don't. It's nonsense. And not only that, but it doesn't matter even if it does, because the moments in which they land are absolutely vital. And that moment, it's not on us to have to play better because of how bad the officials are. It just doesn't make sense. You create them moments. We created a corner in which then Pascal got away from his man and Luke O'Nien needed to foul him. It's as simple as that. We've created that penalty moment. So it's fine margins at that time of the season, that area of the pitch, at that area of the league, and this time of the season. And Sunderland, at the end of the day, they've come down to Ellen Road and had 3 shots on goal over 100 and it's nearly 115 minutes in total. They've had 1 shot on target, which were a P-roller penalty that our keeper should save, unbelievably. Then they should have been down to 10 men instantly from the celebrations. Like, these things stack up and they do matter. They do matter because they change the courses of games and they change the courses of seasons as well when it's this tight. So
just when you list it out like that, Jay, it's just, I mean, I'm banging my head against the wall going, all it takes is one of those things to go for us and we could have a different outcome. It's,
in my opinion,
unbelievable.
We lose that game once out of 100 times.
Yeah.
We win it all, get a point, 99 the other times. And we didn't play well. That does need caveat. I'm not saying that we played really, really well and battered them and then we didn't. We had enough chances to win the game. We had enough chances to even get back in the game after going behind. And people want to lose their minds over it. Like, I personally think that game could have played out exactly the same with Joe Rodon's header standing, and we would have all been saying, nice one, winner. We wouldn't have been complaining about the performance. We'd have just been saying how shockingly bad Sunderland was,
100%.
like I've been saying all season. So I think, and we probably do deserve a few more points on the board. I think that is absolutely fair. But I also would rather it look at it from a context and a perspective of, we are still a recently recently promoted club that's new to the Premier League. We have players that are of a deficiency in talent to really compete at times. And we found ourselves in a winning position more often than we would like in terms of then giving away that lead. But these points that we've been getting away from home have seen us 3 points clear of West Ham now. If yes, we've surrendered leads, but without gaining that lead, we also wouldn't have gained the points. Do you get what I mean? So you have to look at it this way, because this run that we've had, where we've had like 6 draws out of 7 all away from home, that's the difference between being 3 points clear and 3 points behind. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? And we have to look at it like that because they are massive points.
100%. Skip, the Premier League are the richest and most high-profile league in the world. So why don't the Premier League bring the best officials in from Europe?
Can I just say on that? I don't think it's that there's a Premier League specific issue. I think this is a worldwide issue. I don't think that the Serie A or the Bundesliga or Liga or La Liga have got like unbelievable officials that are smashing it week in, week out. I think VAR has created a complacency within officiating. I think there's a full-scale mass issue with what they are paid, which some people would be like, what are you talking about? Like, why would we pay them more? Well, the facts is that we're paying people with that amount of responsibility 30, 40 grand a year. It's literally peanuts for the profession of being the man with the most power on a professional football game, when the players around them are earning 250, 300 grand a week. And like the power, it's nuts. They need properly paying, and there needs to be a route for ex-footballers to go down the officiating route other than the coaching route. They go into coaching because, 1, it's more lucrative. 2, it's got a better profile to it. It's definitely more of what they know. But the biggest thing is that the refereeing's not sexy. It's not fancy. You have to do something around that. I know for a fact at lower league level, some of the people that end up getting into football refereeing are not even footballers. They're not even like big football fans. They're more just invested in sport, and they end up getting into officiating. So we need more ex-players.
100%. 100%. I think there's got to be a big shake-up in the summer about how everything's working, because I can't remember it being more talked about and so many fans unhappy with it. And like you say, when you're paying a fortune for tickets to go and watch the ball be out of play for half an hour,
it's unacceptable.
It's insane. You can't have that. You cannot have that in a league that is, the most profitable in the world, and you just can't have that. I mean, sort it out, guys. Sort it out.
Can you imagine going to a theatre and every 2 minutes They just drew the curtain and he sat there for 20 seconds and then they reopened it again. And I know it's different. I'm being flippant. But, you know, in rugby, the ball goes out of play and the clock stops. They have an 80-minute game. That's it. Like,
do you remember a couple of years ago when they were we're gonna start adding the time on, and they did it for about 4 weeks and then gave up? Do you remember that? Games were like getting 8, 9, 10 minutes added on, and then after about a month they just went, "Oh, we don't want to do that anymore."
Well, now they're doing it now with the 6-second rule for the keepers.
Mindless.
I regularly, just while I'm watching games, will notice the clock. It'll be at 52 when the ball is in the hands of the keeper, and then it'll be a minute and 2. Yeah. So it's 10 seconds. Well, the rule is 6 seconds. If it hasn't left his hands within 6 seconds, it's a corner. That's the rule. How often have you seen that this season? It doesn't happen. They're saying that they're going to bring it in for throw-ins next season, and that there's going to be a countdown for throw-ins, and then it'll go the other way if it's not taken within a period of time. It won't get enforced because they're weak.
No, absolutely, 100%. I mean, you know, there was a Sunday league game on a pitch near us the other week, and you know, I just took my boy across, and you know, I just ended up watching it. Didn't even know it were on, but just ended up watching it, and it was nice to kind of watch the game just flow. Do you know what I mean? And not to be interrupted, and you know, all the kind of mess that we have in the game. I was like, oh yeah, that's football. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you know. What it's become now, and I think, you know, look, the teams as well, the teams know what they're doing. These managers, the players, they're all part of it. They're basically, in the modern game, it's every little advantage you can take, and you're well within your right to do it. Every little loophole you can get through, every little competitive edge you can try and muster, they're going to find out what that is, and they're going to try and exploit it. And it's up to the game, it's up to the officiating, all that kind of stuff to clamp down on it. Because I mean, where is this heading, Jay? I mean, what's the state of the game going to be in a couple of years if this carries on?
If we don't stop it, it's only going to continue to get worse. And I mean, Leeds don't really apply these dark arts, as people have been calling them this week, enough. But I want Leeds punishing for it as well.
Yeah,
I just want the game to be better. You know, there were 2 instances this week, and I shared them both in our group. The Harry Maguire head fake injury, where the foot of the player, for context, is about this far away, and he goes, right? Yeah. And there's another one on it's on a goalkeeper. I can't remember which game it's in. I can't remember if it was City.
Oh, yes, I've seen that, yeah.
It might have been Raya. I can't remember. It might have been Arsenal. And he takes no contact, 0 contact, falls over, spread eagle on his back, and then rolls around. Now, the referee can't be responsible for seeing all of that. I get that. I understand that. If the linesman don't see it as well, I even understand that, because there's a lot going on. You're watching the ball, not off the ball. VAR are watching it. I think they should be able to sort that there and then. Yeah. The keeper's dive to try and cheat you. He's tried to gain an advantage. Send him off. I'd go as drastic as that, mate. I wouldn't even give him a yellow card. I'd send him off, because that then will stop this happening. And if it doesn't get seen by VAR for whatever reason, retrospectively, it gets banned for 5 games. Just have this cutthroat, brutal kind of response to it, because it's not acceptable that we are just subjected to it.
No, 100%. Stop dancing around it. Stop tiptoeing it. Give them a ban. Really punish them. It's the only way you're going to stop it.
Stop it.
It's the only way you're going to stop it. I
tell you, I mean, we can talk about this until the bloody cows come on, and we will move on in a second. But then there's the flip side of this in other decisions that I just don't think. I don't think the officials. This is where they don't understand football. Erling Haaland gets taken out by Matt Sells against Forest, and he gets booked for diving. Yeah. It's never a dive, in my opinion. Whether he's dragged his leg on. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
And then there's another one for Jacob Ramsey against Man United, where he does dive, but he doesn't make a claim of it. He's expecting the challenge to come, and he kind of then was expecting it, and it doesn't. And he goes, but it does. In my opinion, he doesn't dive.
No, and he gets sent off.
Yet we're missing these obvious moments and opportunities to, you know, the Cunha. The Manchester United one last week when he wins a penalty. Yeah. The touch.
What is that about?
It's literally that. and he goes over and he gets a penalty. Retrospectively by VAR as well, by the way. So VAR confirmed it. I think he gave a penalty, but then VAR doesn't overturn it. Yet then Luke O'Neill has literally got his arms round a player, dragging him over, and doesn't give a penalty. It's nuts.
Well, it's beyond baffling, isn't it? Really, it just doesn't make any sense. And the problem is, there's real consequences. You know, there's real hard consequences. Because if Leeds do end up being relegated, moments like that add up. You know, they absolutely add up.
This situation with keepers going down as well. Oh. The captain should have to come off for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's the keeper, then another designated player. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just a piss take. It really is. We've had that. 2 teams have done that against us back to back. Just then looking at it from another angle, because like you say, we could go on and on about all that kind of stuff. And some of this is going to be devil's advocate, and it's part of the discussion and debate. But looking at what Leeds can do better, or what Farke can do differently, or where things have gone wrong, and I want to kind of raise a couple of things I've been kind of mulling over, because obviously Farke, as usual, we've lost a game of football. He gets absolutely hammered by everyone. I've seen a few people say that the Farke haters have found their phones again, and everything that was right for the previous 16 games is all of a sudden wrong for the current game. And I do think we're a road on goal away from winning that, and there's some bizarre incidents that we've just mulled through that have caused us to lose that game. But in kind of looking at self-criticism, looking at it and reflecting on it, is there something he should be doing different or could have done different? I mean, let's talk about subs now. Altanaka, and I've been thinking about this all week, and we've talked before about how he's lost the trust. Tanaka has lost Farke's trust. And, we've said he's made mistakes this season. But I've reflected on it, and playing devil's advocate, should this guy be going from minutes and appearances to absolutely zilch? And the reason why I'm saying this is because I think in a game like that the other night, my only criticism would be, I think we needed more technical players on the pitch. Mm-hmm. When Mecha comes on, he's another one who sometimes, the ball looks like it's a hot potato and it's flying off in all sorts of directions. I thought we had too much of that the other night. Too much of that. We needed a bit more, some technicians on the pitch. I look at Altanaka, who still, by the way, has had good moments this season. When he came on against Man United, he was good. And the Liverpool and Chelsea goals, he has had moments. And my only thing would have been, if we're scrutinising it a lot, does it make sense that he's gone to complete zero when this guy was so good last year, has had good moments this season, he's had bad moments as well? Does he deserve to get absolutely nothing? Should he see a bit more of the pitch? Was that game against Sunderland, who, let's face it, technically Sunderland are not brilliant. Would someone like Altanaka, should he have seen the pitch in that game? Would it have made a difference? Is it fair that he's getting absolutely nothing at the moment?
I think it's a fair question. I think, at the end of the day, we know what he's capable of. I think the context of the game matters. I think there's been several situations where he wouldn't have been my first choice, and other people will just say bring him on just because. I understand the merits of Longstaff, given his experience, given his positional awareness, given his discipline. So I can understand why that will maybe be the substitution that happens more often than not. You don't know how he's training. Yeah. Since this dip in minutes, and I get the feeling that Altanaka is very much a confidence player. Yeah. If his confidence has dropped even further in training, and Farke's seeing that, and the fact that he's a little bit weak mentally, and that's a bit harsh to say, but it's evidence suggests that that's the case. Do you then bring him on when you are desperate for a goal with 20 minutes to go if you don't trust him? Yeah. I get it. I see both sides of it, mate. I totally hear what you're saying, and you could well be right. And for another manager, it might be the case. But for every mistake that Daniel Farke makes on the face of it, I usually think that he gets 4 or 5 things correct.
Yeah.
the other day there were substitutions that I didn't like. I didn't like the Joel Perreault substitution in and amongst everything else that was going on, because it's all well and good. This is I was saying this in the review. Too many fans just think bring a striker on equals more attacking, and that's not necessarily the case. And we saw that at the end of the Sunderland game. We have too much power up front on with no direction to actually get it there. Yeah. You know, by the end of it, we were a bit ridiculous, really. We had no full-backs on the pitch. We had all wingers. We had 2 centre-backs on the pitch. It were all over the place. I don't like it. And you're right, and that is where a technical midfielder within the centre of the pitch would have made a huge difference to cutting them passes through. But we don't really have a 10. You know, we brought Buonanotte in and expected him to be maybe that little bit of a difference maker. The truth is, he's absolutely miles away from it from what we've seen. Miles and miles and miles away. Don't even make the squad now. So, you know, I think Norwich on Sunday, you know, I've just seen Chris's comment there about who comes in at the weekend, and we will talk about Norwich before we finish. But I think Norwich is going to be a massive opportunity for some of these players. It's going to be the last one for some of them, because once you get to the quarter-final, you're not risking out. You're going to play your best team come the quarter-final. Norwich at home on a Sunday in the 5th round, you think Tanaka gets another chance. You'd see Longstaff start. You see Nonto start, you see James start, you see Metcha start. You know, so these players are going to come in and get their opportunity. But, you know, we're saying this about Al Tanaka. Tanaka was terrible against Birmingham. It was really poor. Really, really, really poor. We were getting battered in that game, really, until Ethan Ampadu came on at half-time. And even then, Tanaka didn't play well. Longstaff started playing well in the second half, but he didn't prove himself at all, did he?
No. This is the thing, isn't it? This is the issue you have. Like you say, I mean, if Buonanotte comes in and he's fit and firing, or if he came in the summer, he'd kind of be perfect, because you just fit. I mean, you know, against Sunderland, the ball got so far up the pitch, and then it was like we didn't have a clue what to do with it. We had nobody who could unpick the lock. And like you say, the weekend's going to be a massive opportunity. I want to see some of these players grab it. I mean, you know, Farke, when things are going well, he tends to just stick with the same side. I'm not buying this kind of we should have rotated because of fitness. I don't buy that. I've seen that a lot, and I don't agree with that personally. I think that's you know, not a thing. I think the other aspect as well is Ethan Ampadu is absolutely vital to this team. And remember the stinky performances we had against Brighton and Forest away earlier in the season? He was terrible in those. We lost the game. You know, we've said it all along. We can't afford many of our players to have off days, unfortunately. You know, we have to have everyone kind of firing, especially someone like Ampadu. I don't know. I mean, one part of me thinks, look, you know, should we have tried to maybe start more attacking players against Sunderland? I mean, you know, I find it contradicting myself, though, because I think if we get a stinky 1-0 win, that would have been fine. And we nearly had it. You know, we nearly had it. So I can't really go back on myself and say, well, should we have started Tanaka, and should Buonanotte have been in the squad? Should Nonto have started? Yeah,
I mean,
it's difficult, so difficult.
Just play the game out for a minute as well, Brownie, right? In exactly the way that it went, but Ethan Ampadu doesn't go like this. Right, that's it. That one moment, we remove that moment, right, where he does that. That's it, right? They have 2 shots on goal, none on target. And we'd have 18 with 4 on target, and we should have had a penalty. And we should have, we wouldn't have had the red card because I wouldn't have scored. Okay, so I'm not going to put that one in. But the game would have played out as a 0-0 draw, one in which we'd have had 18 shots. They'd have had 2, 0 on target. You'd have just been saying they've managed to steal a point out of this game. That's it. They've turned up to get a point, and they stunk the place out, and they managed to get one. That is football, and these moments are kind of we have to win the war of attrition with what we've got, especially when Noah Okafor's not inside. We know that Noah Okafor's capable of that one moment which will just turn the game on its head, and we win the game 1-0. When he's not there, between Brendan, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Metcha, Dan James, Willie Nonto, even Jayden Bogle and Gabby, to a point, they're part of our attacking intent. They're all workmanlike. They're good players, but they're industrial workmanlike players. They're not technically gifted. Pablo Hernandez, you know, even in that season that we went up, Helder Costa was technically very good. Jack Harrison had moments.
Well, this is it. Those players you mentioned there, they do have. That's the thing, is it that like Metro suddenly pull a finish and you go, "Whoa, that finish!" But it's not.
It's not regular, is it? No. And then the season that we stayed up, people far too quick to compare them 2 seasons just because of the first season up. One were behind COVID and one were behind lockdown, and the other one wasn't. And the second thing is we had Rafinha. Rafinha, literally, you plot Rafinha into this team now, and I'm telling you, we're another 10-15 points better off. And I'm being deadly serious.
Absolutely. Well, this is it. And look, we've probably not got time to go over the full kind of recriminations of transfer window, but I mean, as much as I've praised the recruitment we've done, I still agree with Farker all the way back what he was saying in August about not having enough attacking quality. You can see that those players that can deliver moments. My worry with Okafor is he's got a very poor injury record. He's injury prone. He's had 3 or 4 injuries at Leeds already. And he strikes me as a player, he has to get up to speed. He already looks like he's kind of, huffing and puffing after 20 minutes. He looks like, and he seems to me very vulnerable to injury. And it's a little bit Sinistera-like, where it's like come in and dazzle and then he's out. And you're like,
he's very, very similar, mate. Very similar. I mean,
not enough,
It's not. And the season could have potentially played out very, very differently in terms of where we find ourselves now if we'd have signed Pajau, if we'd have signed Harry Wilson, and I would also say if we'd have signed Manor Solomon. I think if Manor Solomon had come in as a replacement and been available all season like he was last season, I genuinely think I think Manor Solomon's good for another 7 to 10 points.
I agree, and I'm still astonished we didn't do it. And I think when you look at our attack, we're not spending anything on the strikers. Great business, but going into the Premier League, you've spent 15-16 million on Okafor, and that is it.
Well, people are now starting to get a rude awakening with what they were saying about Strand Larsen, and I know that I'm kind of on the more on the side of saying that it wasn't worth 40 to 45 million at the time. I understood why we didn't want to go to that amount. But when people were like, "Oh, he's not scored any goals for Wolves this season. He's not going to improve." He scored 5 goals, I think, already for Palace. And Palace have gone from being in real danger to being safe. Literally within, what are we on? 6th of March, I reckon. He signed on deadline day. 4 weeks. Within 4 or 5 weeks, Palace are now safe. So he's made that difference. He would have been a real addition for us. In that area of the pitch, it's so vital, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at Larson as well, he's just got that kind of overall game, hasn't he? The sharpness and the running and all that kind of stuff. Is Calvert-Lewin getting a bit isolated at the minute?
Yeah.
What's going on there? Is that because we've not, when we had Brendan in midfield, but you had Okafor there, it felt like you had more kind of going around him. It's a little bit of an issue, isn't it?
I think there's a couple of things with it as well. I don't think Gabby and Bogle have been getting into the same spots. I don't think they're getting into the same positions quite as much as what they were. And teams as well facing us are figuring us out a little bit as well. They know what they're going to be dealing with, as we've changed, we need to keep on adapting and evolving. Like I say, it's very attritional football. So if teams match up with us in terms of the physical output, they can keep up with us because technically they're better than us. Unfortunately, after the Villa game, we all saw the Villa point as a good point afterwards. They've gone on a bit of a stinky run, keep on losing. That's starting to look like a real drop of 2 points in that last couple of minutes. But alas, this is the way that it goes. It is the way that it goes.
Yeah. Just before we get to the FA Cup stuff, Spurs. I mean, last night I was thinking, oh God, I know what's going to happen here. Spurs are going to win and they're going to be out of it and everything like that. And I checked on my phone. I saw that Palace had scored. It got ruled out because I think his thumb was offside. And then Spurs score, you think, is something happening? But then total collapse. Captain gets sent off. Fans are leaving at half time, not coming back. Archie Gray getting a lot of praise. Thought he was very good. Archie really showed some heart and fight in that game, but he's about the only one. They're a real mess. I still have this thing though that they're going to get 1 or 2 players back, and they're just going to win a couple of games and get out of it like that. that's my fear with Spurs. They look They look the worst out of the lot of us.
They do.
The worst out of the lot of us. And I suppose there's still that thing in your head going, yeah, but they're a Big Six club. They're one of the Big Six, Big Six teams. So surely they won't go down. Surely there's enough quality there. But I mean, the managerial appointment they've made, how he's sounding off. I mean, Porro's going nuts when he comes off last night. I don't know what that were about. And it's just an absolute mess there. And there's, some similarities to when we went down last time, where it's just, you're just conceding goals for fun. I mean, what do you think is going to happen there? Because I just can't help but feel they're going to something's going to happen, and they're just going to be able to win 2 games like that because, someone comes back to the team. I don't know who's due back actually, but
well, I think Kudus is the most close, and that's the end of April.
Right. Okay.
So they're in, mate. Right. They're in a mess. They're in a real mess. There's a couple of things with this, right? We definitely have this. And I said this in the group to Lou earlier. Lou said that he didn't feel like that because Newcastle have been down. But I think unconsciously we have this blocker about certain teams going down. Like Manchester United last season, Spurs last season. You just couldn't imagine it. And I think most people applied that to Leeds the first time that we went down. Villa when they went down, Newcastle when they went down. There's this certain blanket with certain teams where we just can't imagine it ever happening because it just never has in our lifetime. 1972 was the last time Spurs were in the 2nd division. Now, there's a couple of things with Spurs. They finished on 38 points last season, right? They finished 17th. People forget that. They've scrapped it as being a bit of a one-off freak season because it's Spurs, right? But really, if this season had been, if these teams that are in the Premier League this season had been in the Premier League last season, Spurs would have gone down last season.
Yeah, they would.
They would have done, because they'd have dropped another 4 or 5 points against them teams. Leeds, Burnley, and Wolves. Sorry, not Leeds, Burnley, Wolves. Leeds, Burnley, and Sunderland. They'd have dropped more points against them. Where I'm guessing Spurs probably picked up points against Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton last season. So they'd have finished on less points. They would have gone down last season. I feel almost certain they would have done. Well, they definitely would have done with 38 points because the way that the Premier League's kind of going to work out. So they're actually trending on last season.
Yeah, they are.
You could argue that they've improved. Well, where? The signings that they've brought in, have they actually made them better? I don't think they have. And this season, they've actually got more injuries than last season. So they've got more of their quality players out. So I think they're well within their position of going down. And I think once after 29 games, you've got 9 games to go, you find yourself 1 point off the bottom 3. You're a bottom 5 side at that point. You're not going to all of a sudden out of the 9 games starting picking up loads of points.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought they actually had more returnees, to be honest, but it doesn't sound as if there's
many. From what I believe, Romero was suspended and he will probably be back at some point. But right now, I mean, would you prefer Romero or Van der Ven? I'd probably argue prefer Van der Ven. But they're both at the minute, there's ill discipline within the whole squad. They're not reliable.
No. Just want to bring up this comment as well, because you're absolutely wrong, bang on, Chris. New to this vidcast, these guys make a lot of sense, but I take it they don't involve their comment section, just ignore it. What's going like? My apologies, that's my fault. It's because just been in rant mode, so we normally do get to the comments. So let's pull some of these up anyway, because you're absolutely right, Chris. I do want to make it interactive. Matt, hi lads, always good to listen to you. Thanks a lot, mate. Really appreciate that. Skip, if we stay up, then what is obvious, we will probably be having a bit of a clear out in the summer if Farker is still here. He just doesn't seem to rate a number of players. And Chris, guys, we have Wolves, Burnley, Tottenham and West Ham. Our destination is in our hands. Those are the games we can win. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and just smash a like on the video or you get subscribed to the channel. I mean,
Chris, if you are still here, we definitely go through the comments a fair bit. But
we do. You're right. My bad, mate.
When you're doing this live streaming gig, like you kind of get into patterns of conversation and momentum kind of picks up, and it can be difficult going back and forward from the comments. But we definitely do read them all and see them all, and we do respond to them all as well.
Hopefully we've not lost you, Chris, but fair enough, mate, fair enough. Well then, Jay, before we finish up, we should talk FA Cup action. I've got to admit, this week's kind of taken a little bit of the shine. I don't know if shine's the right word, or a bit of the excitement about the FA Cup, because before, when we had that little bit of a gap and everything was kind of, going our way a little bit, it was like, oh, that's a nice little thing to be getting excited about in the background. And as you progress, you're getting closer to potentially Wembley visit, the excitement grows. But I've got to admit, it's not been something I've thought about a lot this week, the FA Cup. I just wish it was a Premier League game. I just want to kind of get back into it and try and, get back to that 6-point gap, or try and, get that Sunderland performance and result out of our system. But it is Norwich. It's at home. It's a massive, massive opportunity, Jay. Norwich a little bit rejuvenated since Clement came in. Not obviously a season they would have hoped and expected. But I mean, it heavily weighs in our favour. Even if we're changing things around, you still expect us to get the job done.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel the same way, if I'm honest, with regards to the kind of excitement and the optimism towards the game. How can we fully really immerse ourselves in FA Cup action when the gap got closed by 3 points? The only thing that really matters is staying up in the Premier League. And we just lost a game in such circumstances like the Sunderland game.
Yeah.
How can we really be fully invested in it? All I want is a Premier League game this weekend. Yeah. I so wish that. And am I right in thinking there's an international break?
Yeah, I think we've got Crystal Palace the week after, and then it's a horrible 2 weeks or something.
2 weeks out.
And then is it the Scum game after that? No, Brentford. Oh, sorry, no, I'm wrong. Sorry, no, we've got Crystal Palace next week. We've got Brentford the week after that, and then it's a gap. This seems ridiculous. So we play Brentford on the 21st of March. We don't play then until the 13th of April.
Which just nearly a month.
Gargantuan. Yeah, it's like, it's ridiculous.
Well, we need to make sure out of Palace and Brentford, we ideally take at least 3 points.
Yeah.
3 points is a minimum out of them too. I would argue going to Palace away, they're going to probably feel, well, they are safe now after yesterday. I feel like we can go there and hopefully come away with maybe our second 3 points of the season. It won't be easy though, because Palace are a decent side most of the time, and they will then have that freedom. But hopefully they'll be on the beach. Glasner's not really going to be bothered by that point. Hopefully we can catch them on a good day.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like Palace.
Sellers pack 2 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah, we don't travel
London, well. Stinky.
London. Well, it's London, isn't it?
London, 2 o'clock. It's all the elements.
Good old Neil Warnock. Yeah, so FA Cup game, coming back to the point.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and enjoy it as much as we can. Remembering that if we win this game, we're in the quarterfinal. I also think it's really important for momentum and to kind of exercise what happened on Tuesday, that we win this game. We are against championship opposition. We're against championship opposition that have spent most of the season in the bottom 3. They have now got out of it, and they are looking like they'll probably be safe. They've been good under Clement. I do think they were wildly out of position under Manning, but we should be putting these to the sword. Yeah. So what do we do in terms of selection? Truthfully, I'm not really so sure. I think Beal has to come in. I think we'll probably end up playing 4 at the back. I think, did we play 5 at the back against Birmingham? I think we did away, didn't we? I think we played a 3 back. I'd like to see Dan James probably start, get him some game time. I'd like to see Nonto start. I'd love to see Okafor back in the squad and given 30 minutes just to get game sharpness. I'd like to probably see Calvert-Lewin start, if I'm honest, just to try and get him back in the goals. Tanaka, you play Ampadu probably because he always does. Longstaff. Over Stack maybe, a little bit of variation and change, but we're not going to need a load of it because, Tuesday to Sunday, then we don't play for another week again. The players are going to want games, so go win the game.
Does he kind of get near it, do you think? Or
I don't know if he does. Yeah. If he starts, it won't surprise me. Because I think, you try and then get him back into a match sharpness that's going to help us between now and the end of the season. Can the best version of Buonanotte help Leeds between now and the end of the season? Yes. It's just whether we'll see it.
I just wonder if, but when I was talking earlier about players with a bit of magic in him, he has that. We've seen that. Is it worth you're playing him, maybe you sacrifice an immediate result or a performance, maybe you have to put up with a I mean, I was watching Gareth Bale on the Stick to Football yesterday, and he was saying you just have to play as a player because it's just not the same. You know, training and not playing matches, you have to play. And I wonder if it's worth with Buonanotte for what it potentially can give you if you just try and give him as many minutes as you can to try and get him into sharpness, form, so he can deliver some magic that you just haven't got in your squad generally.
The problem is, Browney, if he delivers anywhere near that level of performance against Birmingham in the Premier League, we might as well play the game with 10 men. Yeah. I mean, it was so bad. You didn't watch that game, did you?
No.
You weren't there.
I saw the compilation of him. It was
I mean,
grim.
The first half wouldn't have looked any different if you'd have just had me arrive at St Andrews and I'd have played in centre midfield. I'm being deadly serious. And I am like a 35-year-old, a very, very low regional level midfielder. I wouldn't have looked worse than Buonanotte did during that 45 minutes. He couldn't have been any worse. No. His passing range, his decision-making, his speed of thought, his pressing, everything that he kind of contributed was awful. Really, really bad. Really bad. So, yeah, I can understand why Farke wouldn't trust him. Yeah. But hopefully he does make a part of the squad. I understand your point to it as well, for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be fascinating. And if we do get through this weekend, all of a sudden the prospect of a quarter final, Jay, and you know, you're not too far away. It'll be the furthest we've gone for 25 years or something like that. Yeah, it'll be. I wonder if that's going to be a game before that Man United game potentially. I wonder if there's an FA Cup weekend or something that maybe we can fill up with a fixture before then. Possibly, we'll have to check that out. But yeah, I mean, you know, quarter final, and you're one game away from a semi final at Wembley. And God, can you imagine if we did get to a semi final? Though, I mean, that getting to a semi final of a cup competition. I mean, last time, you're talking Champions League in 2001. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of staggering how long the droughts are in football. You can't believe it, can you? Really, as a fan, you know, I think, God, 20 odd years, 25 years since I've seen my team do anything in a cup competition.
You're not counting the semi-finals of the playoffs.
Oh well, yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. I'm joking. That horrible scarring memory. But do you know what I mean? It's like, it's wild, isn't it? Like how long that you can be a football fan for and not have anything on that kind of front. It's wild.
Yeah, the life of most football fans, unfortunately, but one that really our history doesn't say that we should be subjected to, but it is the way that we find ourselves in it. I really like the idea of having a cup run. I really do.
Yeah.
I just wish it was with a bit more of a point security from the bottom three. But
it would have been nice, wouldn't it? Imagine if we'd have been sitting, say, 8 or 9 points clear now with a cup run. You could have really gone after
it. It'd been perfect season.
The burden, it'd been beautiful. Be all to come back in, by the way. I should have mentioned this earlier because it's something I want to cover off. I know we've only got a couple of minutes, but got to get Be all back in this team for me. Set pieces. This is one thing I'm looking at Farke going, get Be all back in the team. For me, either Rodon comes out or James Justin. Personally, I would prefer to see Strike, Beal and Rodon. I think that's rock solid. It was working absolutely fine. I appreciate James Justin's been excellent, but for me, that's solid. And I want to see that come back. Beal on the bench, he's too good. He's too good to be on the bench, Jay. He's not in the Tanaka and all that kind of, he's a starter.
Beal, Stack and Dominic Calvert-Lewin for games that we want to win.
Yeah.
Then three can't be on the bench. I agree with you. And I agree that like I've always said, I'm not just a Farke lover. He makes mistakes, and I think right now Beal being on the bench is one. I'd also give Lucas Perry the cup game and hope that he turns in another centre later. I want to see him back in the team. I don't trust Carl Darlow. I know he has good games, and I can come on here and say afterwards, he had a good performance today, but I know he's not that far away from then making another mistake. A few people have really disagreed with the fact that I was critical of him not saving the penalty. If you have a shot during open play from 12 yards out that goes in like that does, you are blaming the keeper. So why would it be any different from the penalty spot? It's actually easier because it's from a standing set. You know the shot's coming. So it was so poor that I think he should save it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. John, were Liverpool supposed to be interested in B or
I have read that.
something like that? Yeah, so which does kind of tell you where he's viewed at. Right, we'll leave it there. Thank you to everyone who got involved and got your comments in. We do appreciate them. We'll make sure we read them out on a more regular basis. Chris, if you're out there, come back. Yeah, we'll be back at some point after the weekend's game as well to discuss that. So please do stay tuned for that. I've been Stephen Brown, with me as ever, Jason Booker. Jason, thank you, mate.
Thank you, mate.
And we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.